Hi, good morning, everybody. How are you? My name is Attorney Charles Zavala from Zavala Texas Law. I am an immigration lawyer. We also do criminal cases and business claims. We are based out of Houston, Texas, but handle cases all over the USA. Today I have a video about DACA. If you guys follow us or have seen our videos, we've done a lot of videos about DACA explaining, when it happened, what it was, what the requirements were, blah, 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 blah. But I keep on getting a lot of questions from people about certain little terms or eligibility requirements. So what I decided to do was this. My other videos have usually been pretty short. I think maybe between 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make it a little bit more thorough. I don't want to eat up all your day. I know you have stuff to do, but I am going to go through what DACA is, who initiated it, why did they initiate it, what does it take to be, what are the requirements, and I'm going to try to go through each one, and I'm going to try to provide little situations, right? Hopefully this can answer a lot of questions people have, because there is a lot of uncertainty out there with immigration. There's a lot of uncertainty with the laws that are going to change right now. Actually, what's today? Today is March 31st. Yesterday or the day before, there's a big federal case in Texas whether DACA is going to continue or not, right? So it's a whole mess. I get it. But hopefully I can help you out, right? So if you like what we do, feel free to subscribe to our videos. We do these for you guys. We'd like to answer questions. I like to talk. But I do like to answer questions because it's fun whenever somebody calls us or they have this problem or they think that they're not eligible or just a situation that we can help them out, right? We can really change people's lives. So I'm going to go through this whole DACA thing. If you qualify, if you know someone who qualifies, feel free to give us a call. We can schedule you a consultation. It'll be with me personally, and then we can talk about how we can help you, okay? So that was my opening rant. Let me go ahead and start, okay? And I'm looking at this screen over here just because I have two screens in my office, and this one has a lot of notes I took, as well as some really interesting things. Okay, so DACA, D-A-C-A, stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, okay? DACA is easier. Okay, this was implemented by President Obama. I think it was in 2012, June 15th. Yeah, June 15th, 2012. Okay, and the reason why this came into play was this. I am from a border town. I am from beautiful Brownsville, Texas, right on the border with Matamoros, Tamaulipas. Okay. When you're from a border town or you're from a border state, Texas, Arizona, California, I don't know, New Mexico, no, New Mexico's north. You have a lot of the culture is just not double nationality, but you have a big flux from people who cross the borders. So in that, there was a lot of people from Mexico, families that came over to the USA, what's illegally, or they came over undocumented, right? So under immigration law, that's wrong, right? You're not supposed to do that. But if you're a child, the question is, well, how can you punish the child for the crimes of the parents, right? So what the Obama administration did is they came up with this thing called DACA that said, listen, if you were brought over as a child, and you hit these certain requirements we need, we will give you DACA status, okay? So everyone's like, oh, that's fantastic. But what is DACA status? What does it do? Are you a resident? Are you a citizen? Are you able to travel? No. Right? All DACA status is, it's a deferred status, which means the government saying, listen, we won't deport you, right? You're not a resident, you're not a citizen, you can't vote, you can't do any of that. We're just not going to deport you. Or remove. That's a new term now they're trying to use instead of deporting, removing someone. Ultimately, same thing. Take someone out of the country, take them back to their country. So on one end, I think that's fantastic, right? I mean, you at least now, someone who's eligible for DACA, at least now has status and know the government's not going to, if they find them, they're not going to try to remove them, right? So that's a good thing. Another thing on top of that is a two-in-one combo is, since the government said, listen, you can now be here in the USA temporarily until we decide what we're going to do with DACA, you can also work, right? And that's good because people need to work, right? That's how we make money. And for me being a U.S. citizen here in this country, we don't have any problem getting jobs. But if you are an immigrant, you always have to show what's called an employment authorization card. And I'm going to make another video about that, explaining totally what that is. But that is a little card that lets your employer know that you are legally allowed to work in the USA, right? Because a lot of employers won't hire you if you don't have it, because if they can get in trouble, okay? So that's what DACA was. It was fantastic. that's the status it would give you, right? So the next question is, okay, how long does it last for? You know, what's it do? So originally 2 years, right? Trump took it to 1, but now it's back to 2. Okay, so right now we're saying every 2 years you're going to have to renew if you have it. Okay, so be very cautious of your dates because you don't want it to expire. It's going to turn into more pain in the butt. You know, you'll still be able to get it. It's just it's a pain in the butt. Just go ahead and make sure you know the date. Apply beforehand. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the criteria as to what are the requirements for DACA. Okay, bum, bum, bum. And these are, let's see here, how many notes did I? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I may go a little bit more than the majority of clients should, but still, with DACA here, you have to have all of them to qualify. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have 4 out of 5 or if you have them all except 1, all of them. Oh, but it doesn't matter what if I wouldn't, all of them. Okay, that's just very important. Okay, so let's start with the first one here. So to apply for DACA, you're essentially asking the government to give you status, right? So you can't have legal status when you're applying for DACA. Okay, so let's pretend I am from Paraguay and I am here in the USA on a tourist visa. I can't switch to, aside being all the other requirements, you can't switch. It's for people who have unlawful status, unlawful presence, okay? So if you are here on a student visa or something like that, any sort of legal state, it is not for you. You have to be out of status, okay? That's one thing. I would say 99% of the cases we handle, that one's a no issue because majority of people came over here illegally, and if they came over illegally, chances are they don't have any status now. Okay, so you have had to have lived in the USA since June 15th, 2007 or earlier. Okay, the easiest way to think about it is, were you here in the USA before June 15th, 2007? Okay, and once again, it's a strict thing. If you were here on June 20th, 2007, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's June 15th, 2007. Okay, so you have to have shown that you came here before that. How can you show that you came here before that? Maybe if you're part of school, if you got vaccines, anything that can show your name and a date is going to help prove that you were here before that date. Okay, so that's a necessary. You have to do that too. Third one, you had to have been born after June 16th, 1981. Okay, so from June 16th, 1981 up. Okay, so if you were born in 80 or 79 or even June 14th, sorry, it's a strict, right? And the reason why to do that is when they originally created this law, you had to have been under the age of 31 when the law came out. So if you just work it backwards, that's just what the date is. So you had to have been born after June 16th, 1981. Okay? Another requirement is you had to actually have been here present in the USA when this when DACA passed, which was June 15th, 2012. Okay, so it doesn't. So you couldn't have been in Mexico. You couldn't have been in France. You couldn't have been in another place. You had to have been here. It's kind of like the TPS that's going on now for the Venezuelans. The moment the law comes out, or not the law, but the moment the DACA passes or anything like that, you will have to be here on that date. It's just part of it. So an important thing, June 15th, 2012, had to have been here in the USA. For a lot of our clients, most of them came early before 2007 and then just stayed here the entire time. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem with that. Okay, as long as you came here, stayed here the entire time, you should be fine. You have to show that you have been here. Okay, that's important, right? Because who's to say that someone's not in Paraguay and got here a few days ago and says, "Oh, I want to apply for DACA." You have to show all these things that you're trying to prove. So if you showed here before 2007, June 14th or 15th, I was confused at 15th, 2007, show proof you were here, medical records, stuff like that, and then you have to show from then up, pretty much on. Right, that's the safe way to do it. Show it up until whatever you're now, 2021, and you can do that anyways. Most people who went to school, you know, you can go to your school in school district, you could do something like that, and they should be able to give you like an itemized, like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and it'll tell you the years you were there, right? So that's a very good way to try to tell the government, look, I was here, right? Because the government, not the government, I don't want to be too general, but USCIS, that's a government agency who's in charge of immigration forms, documents, all that stuff. The burden is always on us. The burden is on us, the immigrants who are applying. So we have to convince them. We have to say, hey, government, I'm knocking on your door. I see you guys have DACA. You have those requirements. Let me prove to you all these requirements so I can get it. Okay? So that's important to know. And if you guys, if we partner up together and you guys hire us, we take care of all this for you, right? We're not going to, we take all the stress, all the work. We're going to ask you, hey, can you bring us these documents? Tell you what to do, where to get them, all that stuff, but we will take care of handling everything with immigration. Okay, so that's an important one. So you had to have been here on June 15, 2012 and show that you've been here. Another important one, this is I don't know what the percentage is, I don't even know what I'm trying, but a lot of people call and they have all these requirements. This one they're kind of lacking. It says you had to completed high school, which if you completed high school and you have your diploma, you're good. Don't worry about this one. Or GED. If you have your GED, you're good. Don't worry about it. Or if you were in the armed forces and received honorable discharge. I've never ran into a case where someone received that, but that's what the rules say, so I have to put it out there. Or I also have a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, I didn't finish high school, or oh, I didn't finish my GED, or stuff like that. Okay, so here's an important thing. Or you have to be enrolled in school. Okay? What does enrolled in school mean? That you can be in high school, you can be in the classes to obtain your GED, and it's not only that, you can be part of, I think they're called vocational schools, like welding, things that aren't exactly what you would think of your traditional schooling, right? As long as you showed you are enrolled in something that qualifies, and you need to be careful about this because this happened in Texas a lot, and I'm sure it happened in a lot of other states. There were schools that were giving out diplomas, right? So people would go pay money just so they can get some diploma or something, and then the state caught on and closed all those schools, and all those diplomas became invalid. And we had a few people who had gone to schools like that, you know, and we didn't know, they didn't know that it was a fraud, but it happened, you know, and then those diplomas. So now they're reapplying again for DACA, but they have to do it the right way. They have to go through. Always look for this. If you're going to do some sort of program, online class, make sure it's state accredited or it passes the requirements needed. And ask them that. They should know. Okay? So that's an important one. Here's another one. You haven't been convicted of a felony. Okay? And I don't want to go too deep into this because the definition of felony on the state level versus the definition of felony on the federal immigration level is different. But just view this. If you haven't been arrested, nothing, you're fine. Don't worry about it. This doesn't apply for you. If you have been arrested, you should call a lawyer, right? You need to figure out if you still qualify. Most likely, if you receive jail time for more than a year, chances are that falls under the federal definition of an aggravated felony. Okay, so we need to be careful. So I would just say, if you have any sort of criminal conviction, call us. We need to figure out if you are eligible or not. And you are going to have to get records for all this stuff, right? So sometimes we have a lot of people who call and say, oh, well, I got arrested like a few years ago, but I don't remember for what, but it wasn't a big deal. That doesn't fly with us, right? Because, I mean, it's hard to convince immigration about that. So we're going to always ask, man, we need to see those records because we need to convince immigration that this isn't one of the crimes that makes you ineligible under the law. Okay, so those are the main ones. Also, not pose a threat to national security or public safety. So as long as you should be okay with that. Usually that happens if you ever have any terrorist claims against you or something that the immigration could say poses a threat to the country. It's kind of rare. I haven't seen those. So those are the requirements, okay? So I'm going to go through them really quick again. You have had to be here on before June 15, 2007. You had to have been born after June 16, 1981 or after. You had to have been present the time DACA was enabled, which was June 15, 2012. You couldn't have lawful status during this time. GED or high school diploma and no criminal convictions. Okay? So assuming you have all that, you are eligible for DACA. But like I said, we have to prove all that stuff, right? We have to fill out applications. We have to get those documents together to give it to immigration to prove all that. If not, what immigration is going to do, and to us, when we do any sort of immigration paperwork, it sucks because it just adds more time to it, is they send what's called an RFE. It stands for Request for Evidence, which is them saying, hey, we received your application, but we still want to see all these things. And it's because, now we have to gather more documents from the client, which takes, a few weeks or however long it does. We have to mail it, they have to process it. It just adds more time. So we tried to do everything right the first time just because it saves you time, it saves us time, and at the end of the day, you want your DACA and you want your work permit. So that is, I would say, to be eligible for DACA, you need to prove all that. So the next question would be like, well, okay, well, what if I already have DACA? What next, right? Your DACA is yours until it expires. And they're going to send you a little piece of paper called the I-797 receipt. And that's going to tell you when it expires. So you just have to renew it. We always renew it 6 months before. And all you have to do to renew it is fill out applications again, give them the evidence they want, and you should be ready to rock and roll. What we always do is anytime we apply for DACA, we always apply for your work permit too, because people need to work, right? I mean, money is how the world moves, right? That's how you feed yourself, how to feed your family, take care of yourself, all that stuff. So we apply for that too. There are certain requirements for that, but DACA will allow you to do that. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of any other questions that I normally get asked. Remember, with the requirements, those are hard requirements, y'all. So if you don't reach any of those, I'm sorry. But if you don't have your high school or GED, you can go enroll in class and no problem, right? And we can submit that to immigration, say, look, you're enrolled. That helps. So that's one that you can still change. But yeah, I mean, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and let's see, this video is running on 15-16 minutes. It's probably one of my longer videos. I'm hoping, though, that being a little bit more comprehensive about DACA, explaining kind of what it is and going through the requirements can help you guys a lot. Because it's important, when DACA was closed during President Trump administration or new applications, it was really scary for a lot of people. And I had a lot of clients who called and said, hey, I wish we had done it when it was open. And my response was, you're right. Right? And so now we're in that situation where it's open again. We need to take advantage of it. So if you're eligible for it, if a family member, somebody you know, blah, 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 please send them this video or please give them our phone number. We're more than happy to schedule a consultation with them. Every consultation is with me personally, Charles Zavala. Right now we're doing consultations via phone because of COVID, but the conversations will be with me. We'll talk, we'll go through it, and we're more than happy to help you. Okay, so if there's anything you guys need, feel free to subscribe. We have Facebook, YouTube, all the social medias. I don't even really know all the ones that exist anymore, but we're more than happy to help you. Once again, my name is Charles Zavala, here from Zavala Texas Law, beautiful Houston, Texas. We hope you all have a beautiful day and enjoy this video. Thank you.